tonight a lot of what we're talking about is about hostages. That's what we're talking about tonight. That's one of the themes of tonight, and how the theme of tonight of the idea of being a hostage is that our soul is hostage to our body in a certain sense, because we're not actualized in a way that we're living from a place of Mashiach consciousness, so our soul needs to be redeemed. And that pasuk is coming up in next week's Haftarah and Shabbos Chazayin, so we're going to do a two-part series. It'll be this week and next week. It's quite deep this week. It's very, very deep. But before we say that, L'chaim, that we should hear good news about the hostages, that in the honor of what we're learning, to the idea of redemption, the idea of a part of us that's needs to be released from prison, the shackles of our existence, that in the merit of art learning, that we should hear good news for the hostages, and we should keep on hearing good news for that no Jew should have to die anymore, and that no Jew should have to suffer. We are the chosen people, and we have a strong message, and it needs to be heard. So l'chaim l'vracha, that we should hear good news. L'chaim. So, just before we get started, because we've done this before, I think it's important, but part of the shir is, or this experience is that you experience what we're talking about. So in order to experience what we're talking about, I want you to close your eyes. Sometimes I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. It's okay. I know it's your first time, but close your eyes anyways. Take a deep breath, and I want you to imagine yourself as a hostage, that you had these crazy men that came into your home, and they've been planning this for a long time, and then you were taken. And it's been 300 days. 300 days, almost a full year of your life. Imagine a full year of your life. You had to be underground, moved, treated with whatever, and like you're on a mission here. And imagine that today, right now, you're not a hostage. I mean, you don't have to imagine it. You're not a hostage, and you're sitting at a table. But what if we bring that energy into tonight? Well, maybe life starts getting a little bit more meaningful, a little bit more serious about what we're doing this for. We're bringing a certain consciousness into tonight, and it needs to be real. In order for it to be real, we need to be able to meditate on things, to breathe into things, to experience them. Oftentimes we hear things, a nice concept in the mind. When has anybody ever changed because of a good vart? People change because they feel something. People change because something inside of them wakes up that says, this needs to move, this needs to shift. Nobody ever changed anything in their mind. So l'chaim to a part of us, if we could release a part of ourselves, then maybe vibrationally out to the world, the hostages are released. Chaim. So, just a couple of the groundwork is there's no phones. I have my phone here for some of the music, and I have notes that I wrote up. And that's what I'm using my phone for. I'm not checking any messages. And if I see you checking a message, so we're going to stop the whole shir, and we're going to focus on you. Just until you can explain to me why you're whipping out your phone in the middle of intimate moments. Like, you wouldn't whip out your phone in the middle of sex, would you? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I mean, if you would, l'chaim. In fact, if you whip out your phone in the middle of sex, you have permission to whip it out here.
Might be my wife calling.
Just whip it out to change the music.
But let's, yeah, exactly, to change the music, change the theme. So, without further ado, so we are going in. This is a mimer that was given over by the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And like I said, there's a pasuk, there's a verse that's said in the Haftarah. It's in Sefer Yeshaya, and it It says, Tziyam b'mishpat tipada v'shaveh b'tzedakah. Zion, through justice, will be redeemed and come out of captivity through tzedakah. Okay, that's the basic premise of what we're discussing tonight. And the Rebbe starts off with first tracing the source of where was this really discussed, and he says that the Alter Rebbe discussed this in his mimer, which continued. The mimer continued, and it said, in order to understand this concept, we're going to connect it to another pasuk, which says, "V'hayu hadvarim ha'ela asher anochi mitzavcha hayom." And these are the things that God had commanded you today. And the way it's written, that it says it's about today, is that every single day, when it says, I have commanded you today, it's referring that every single day, I should be able to tap into, like today was the first day. So I know we talked about the idea of relations with a woman earlier, just now. And imagine that you could experience relations with a woman, but like it was the first time, like it was new. Like it was the first experience, like you're all excited for it, you're giddy about it, you know it's coming, but it's like you're really excited for that thing. So to have a sense of newness that God is commanding us, the Torah today, is what he says, is why it says Hayom. We have to have a sense of newness in the mitzvahs. And in order to get to that, he says you have to be able to meditate on the pasuk itself, which says, I've commanded you today. That the worlds, all of the worlds, because we're not talking about just this world, there's higher vibrational worlds, comes from, all of the worlds created comes from God's midah of what's called malchus. It's just one piece of an idea of godliness, and it's called only a glimmer, only a ray of what God actually is, so to speak. So God created all the worlds with such a small little gift that he showed us, like this little glimmer of a revelation, and that only came from like the lowest, so to speak, part of him. And when we do mitzvahs, when a person does mitzvahs in general, what you tap into, remember the whole world is created from Midas HaMalchus, which is just God's speech. He said one word and the whole world was created. The mitzvahs that we do tap into, we have access to God's full essence when we do a mitzvah. It's called atzmus. It's called you get him. Okay? And this is what it means when it says, Dezeu asher anochi mitzav chayim, that anochi is commanding you. What's anochi? Anochi misha anochi. I am who I am. What's the level of I am who I am? With God is no limits. There's that formless energy. It's something that, it's not definable. It's like when you turn to a person, you say you, without the name, you're just saying you. You're talking directly at the person. That's what you're getting. You're getting you. You're getting the level of, I'm getting the real essence of God. And that's why it says, Anochi mitzav chayim. It doesn't say a different name of God. Anochi means I. Who am I? Like this, who am I? Anochi, Misha Anochi. Who am I? That it's the undefinable God. It's just him. It just is. If you don't know what I'm talking about yet, that's okay. We're gonna catch you up. But the idea is like this. We do it today, and tomorrow we're going to receive a bracha. A lot of Judaism, pre-Baal Shem Tov days, was about doing mitzvahs for Olam Haba. Like, I'm going to go to a higher place. I'm going to get a piece of that experience of like front row seats to the show. Because what's Gan Eden, or Olam Haba? Gan Eden is a concept of I'm sitting in a place and I'm just experiencing godliness. And the more mitzvahs we do, the higher level of revelations we have in Gan Eden. There's many different levels of Gan Eden you can experience, but you're experiencing the ultimate pleasure of being next to God. And that's pre-Baal Shem Tov days. That's how Jews lived their lives. It was about, I'm going to do the mitzvahs today, in order to receive the schar of Olam Haba. And The idea of post-Baal Shem Tov days, or during Baal Shem Tov days and on, is we tapped into something new, which is, that's not the goalpost, because even that, Gan Eden, is a limited form of God. It's a limited form of experiencing God. It comes in only a revelation of God, but you don't get the full thing. When we're in this world, what the Baal Shem Tov explained to us, and what the Rebbe is explaining to us now, is that we get God's essence. We get Him, which is higher than the level of Gan Eden. Right? You hear what I'm saying to you so far? It's making sense? And when we contemplate on this idea that Anochi mitzav chayim, that God is commanding us today, that through doing the mitzvahs, we're getting Him. And it's happening right now in this moment that I get Him, because imagine you want to have a meeting with the most important person in the world. And all you have to do is lock into a certain portal of existence. So you go through this portal and you get to meet that really important person. You're meeting the most important person in the world, so to speak, when we do a mitzvah, and you get full access to that person. But it's not a person, it's God. And that's what we get now. And we get full access to Him. Full access means we're not coming in different forms. We're not coming in just a revelation of Him. We get the full experience. That's what happens when we do a mitzvah. Because Anochi is Anochi Misha Anochi. It doesn't come in a revelation. You really just get Him. And Hayom means right now. It means in the present moment, in the present day. The present experience is that when I'm doing a mitzvah, I get Him. So how do I get to a level of seeing it new? That it could be new in my eyes, that I can re-experience that first time experience. You know, for a bar mitzvah boy, for the kids that are trained to do this, and they do this like really well, is the parents that do it really well. The bar mitzvah kid feels like a certain level of joy when he does tefillin for the first time. It's like, wow, it's like I feel like a man. This is my inauguration. It's supposed to be a meaningful experience. Now, 20 years later, the guy's putting on tefillin, and he doesn't. he's not feeling nothing. Maybe he says the Shema or whatever. He puts it on. He's not even fully like in the zone. He's just like doing it to be Yotze Zayin. Or even have the guy that goes to shul every day, and he's just, kicking away, doing his thing. It's not new. It's not a new experience. I don't feel the newness. It feels old. I did it yesterday. I was doing Mitzvayim. And you hear this a lot when I do Mitzvayim, when I go out and put on tefillin with people. Say, yeah, I already did it yesterday. And it's true, from a standpoint of I'm working towards something, working towards a goal in life. I'm working towards a goal. What's wrong with working towards a goal? I want Gan Eden. I want more Gan Eden. I want a higher level of Gan Eden. Eventually I'm going to Gan Eden, so let me go for that experience. But then my relationship to the mitzvah is not about the present moment. It's about the future. It's not about what's going on now. And when do you feel that? When you're a bar mitzvah? Or when do you feel it? The first time you had sex? Or the first time you did this thing that felt like really unique, and then I need to do another unique thing and another unique thing. And what ends up happening is my energy towards life and newness needs to be something that I've never done before. When a child holds a cup, let's say, a child's holding a cup and it's like laughing and giggling. We pick up a cup, we don't even realize what's in front of us. We have no idea what's going down over here. But when we were a kid, we felt like the curiosity and the presence to what's happening in front of me. This is a cup. I'm holding a cup. In my cup is this thing. Let's go, boys. All the way. All in. Come on. Don't be shy. L'chaim. Nachman.
I'm gonna get some more. Chairs.
Yeah, do whatever you gotta do.
Another table or two?
Are you in the zone right now?
I'm listening to you.
Let's go. Go get the chairs.
We need chairs.
Okay, we're gonna do a slight meditation. So Everybody close your eyes. Pick your favorite mitzvah. Go, pick your favorite mitzvah. Why not? Pick a mitzvah. Feel the mitzvah that you're connected to. And close your eyes, and I want you to imagine that... You can't hear me? Close your eyes, and I want you to imagine your favorite mitzvah, and imagine it's the first time you're ever doing it. I know some of you, it's Friday night. I get it.
That was my first thought.
So imagine the mitzvah. Imagine this is your first time. Imagine you're experiencing the first time. And you know what? If you don't want to do it for a mitzvah, do it for something in your life. Imagine the first time, how special the first time was. Remember that time that we did that thing? It was the first time. And breathe in through your mouth and feel what you feel as you're doing something for the first time, and it's exciting. And now I want you to double breathe through your nose, so really relax into your body. And imagine that you can access that every single time you do a mitzvah. Is you can realize that you've just created a portal between you and God. That every time you do a mitzvah, it's Anochi mitzavcha hayayim. That the level of God's essence is meeting you right now. Not yesterday, not by Har Sinai. Every single time. If all I have to do is do that meditation and breathe into that, then all I really have to do is tune in, because it's already there, it's already happening. What blocks it from happening is creation, is the veils of creation. Is the part that says, yeah, maybe this isn't real. Part that makes us doubt ourselves. Or the part that maybe says, you know, I'm interested in, I got to make a buck right now. I can't think about this. Or my kid's driving me nuts right now. I don't have patience for this. Or I just had a business deal go sour. And my energy is fully invested in that. And then I'm wrapping tefillin and saying, God, come on, just you see what I'm doing over here? Just give me a break, cut me a break. I'm doing all the right things. I'm the good boy. Maybe I'll get Olam Haba. And what if it's about something more? What if it's about turning everything off and being completely present? That Anochi mitzavcha hayayim. And why is it called Anochi? Because who am I? You get to choose. Who am I is you get to choose. Chaim. Now, welcome. Things can very much be that it can be new. Things can be new. Like, remember when you used to love your wife? Or remember when you used to love your friend and used to be great friends? Or whatever it is that you loved. Remember those times? And then my interest went in a different direction. Well, when it comes to our relationship with God, our relationship went to a place where the simcha and the bitterness that we get out of life, the simcha and the bitterness that we get out of life is from things of this world, from olam hazeh, from the physical world. Yeah, I'm getting so much geschmack. Oh, I just smoked a doob and I'm like flying. I'm feeling amazing. Or I just won a sports bet. Or I just picked up a hot girl. Or maybe I even just, feel good about myself because I gave over a good speech. Or my son told me I'm the best dad. Whatever I'm getting my stuff from, wherever I'm getting my enjoyment and my bitterness from, if it's from things of this world, I'm not connecting to who I really am. I'm really not. And who I really am, you ready for it? Is Anochi. That's who I really am. Chaim. And what Anochi means is it's a level of God that exists in ourselves, exists inside of ourselves. And that level is Anochi Misha Anochi. What does that mean? What does it mean, Anochi Misha Anochi? I am who I am. What does it mean, I am who I am? It means I can be anything. I can go into any situation. I can feel godly when I'm playing Lego with my son. I can feel godly when I'm doing a person a favor. I can feel godly when a guy tells me off. And where I get access to that, where I get my portal of connection to that experience is when I do the mitzvahs. Why? Simply because he told us, this is the way it is. This is the portal to connection. And some people think, hitting a spiritual vibration of life is where it's at. So they're going to do ayahuasca, or they're going to do mushrooms, or they're going to do weed, or they're going to say l'chaim, and then I'm going to get to this spiritual place. So I'm going to tell you something. Tonight we're going to learn about what the real function of spirituality is. Chaim.
How come some mitzvahs that are harder to do than like others? Like, isn't like God should be like free access to us?
Yeah. So that's the idea, is like some mitzvahs are going to be harder because that's the challenge of the mitzvahs. We don't know which ones we're supposed to do and which ones we're not supposed to do, but we know we're supposed to treat them with that same meditation. Each mitzvah needs that same meditation. It needs to know that it's like when your wife tells you, this is how you get me. You help me make a decision about what to eat for dinner tonight. And in that moment, you can get your wife because you're connecting to her. And it's such a simple, seems like a meaningless thing. I just want to focus on like going for a walk together or having a good time together or going on vacation together. But that meaningless thing can be as important as the vacation. So every mitzvah, and my challenge with the mitzvah that I don't feel is my challenge with the mitzvah. What my soul connects to more or not, or all that kind of things. It could be that the soul came from a previous Gilgul, and it had a challenge with that mitzvah, like whatever it was, and you're just replaying that message. But all mitzvahs are the same. There's no difference. There's no more important mitzvah than the next, and you didn't get the point of the mitzvah. Oh, there's the big mitzvahs. Yeah, like don't eat on Yom Kippur. Shkoyach. What about the one that says respect your parents? And that's a big mitzvah for some people. The bigger the mitzvah, the more the mitzvah feels like it's a mitzvah, you're diving in more to what it's there for. Because you're not doing it because you feel like it. You're doing it because that's what you sent into this world for. Here, you signed up for a mission. And this is part of the mission. Each mitzvah is part of the mission. The Rebbe says now, so what if I just look at Gan Eden as the goalpost? Like, who cares? Meaning to say, like, when I'm doing something and I have a goal, like, if I do X, Y, Z, I'm going to make $1 million. Okay, so what's the big deal? To have a goal, I want to make $1 million. What's wrong with that? Or what if I have a goal that I'm for Yiddishkeit? If the more mitzvahs I do, I'm going to get Gan Eden. What's the big deal? What's the downside of living? We can still get excitement from it. Meaning I can still feel the excitement from it. I might not feel that it's a new mitzvah, like I'm doing it for the first time, but I still have an excitement because I'm focused on a certain goal. So what's wrong with that? So he's even challenging what he said before, where he said that I need to bring in this level of meditation, that it's happening now, and the portal to God is right here, right now, the essence in this moment, and it's a much higher revelation than Gan Eden. But what's the big deal with that? So what? So not everyone's going to experience mitzvahs as we're doing them right here, right now. What's the problem with that? What about imagining if you marry your wife? Sorry guys if you're not married yet, but I don't really care. This is what I want to focus on right now. Marry your wife and you have these plans of yeah, I'm going to build a family and I'm going to do all these things. And in 20 years, those dreams of what I think life's going to look like, it's going to be amazing. What happens to all those 20 years? And maybe that doesn't happen, but what happens in all those 20 years? What's the compromise of living my life for the goal? Anybody know what the compromise is?
It doesn't happen. It's quite depressing.
Okay, but what if it does happen? We're leading in that direction, and that's what we're doing. We're just going for the...
You're never there.
You're never there.
You're
You're never there. You're never present. Because when I'm always focused on what will be, then guess where I am? I'm not here. I'm focused on what will be. Now, what's wrong with focusing on what will be? We're here for a mission. We're here to go and do what we got to do to get Gan Eden in this whole experience. Wrong. What Hasidus brings to the world, what it teaches us here, the Rebbe is telling us here, is a meditation here. You get more of God in the moment than you do in Olam Haba. And even Tchias HaMesim, which is a higher, like crazier than Gan Eden, he says here. Crazy, much crazier than Gan Eden. It's going to be literally people rising from the dead. That level of revelation and experience that we're going to have is way beyond Gan Eden, to see people come back from the dead and godliness in the world and people walking around, part of the process. It's like God is one and the bodies are here. Right here, right now, what we get in this world before all of that is God, the essence. It's much greater than that. It is it. What's it called? It's called presence. It's called presence. What does presence mean? For those that don't understand. So there's part of the experience, there's two worlds that exist. There's a world called Olam Hazeh, right? And in this world, the way we experience the world, how we experience the world, is we look at the world as what we see is what we get. That's how we experience the world. It's a limited experience. That light that exists in the world is called Mamala Kol Almin. What you see is what you get. There's different parts. There's, this stuff feels very real. I taste it. It's geschmack. And that's a level that exists within the world. Now, above that level of the world is called Soivav Kalamin. And that's called spirituality. Spirituality is formless energy. It can't be contained within something. It's formless because by definition, spirituality is infinite. If spirituality is infinite, it can't be contained. It can't be wrapped around. It's called Ein Sof. So those two worlds, the limited world which has an end, meaning there's a beginning to an end to life, there's a beginning and an end to this cup. Things have a beginning and they have an end. And there's a level that's above this world where you transcend time and space. And what do you get? You get spirituality. Now those two energies, those two parts of God, Mamala Kol and Soivav Kalamin, they shouldn't be able to interact because they're complete opposites. So how is it that those two energies can come and interact with each other? I need some more l'chaim for this because we're going deeper.
We're going to be interacting energies.
Yeah. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You're with me. You're with me. Yeah, that's me. Anochi. Okay, let's, you know what? We're going to sing a niggin. No, we're not doing a break right now. Okay, so this niggin is called... Shh, Johnny, there's no commentary. This niggin is called Niggin Yashan. It's called an old song. Now, what's interesting with the song is A song, you hear a speech 100 times and you want to kill yourself. You hear a song 100 times and each time you get that same feeling if you love the song. So it's called Nigin Yashan, but it's an oldie, but it always takes you there. Because the Nigin takes you to places. So Ya L'chaim. So we're going to take a break in a second because I know everyone's itching for a break. I know how you guys think. I'm with you. Feeling the energy. Yeah, he's right. You're right. Sorry. Thank you. So in order to experience things as new, We have to go to a place in our experiences that's above time and space. Because what does time say? Time says, 15 years ago I felt that, but today I don't. In order to get to a place where I can experience a newness in relationship, I have to transcend time and space. That's called spirituality. Spirituality means I can go to a place where this is the first moment, because I'm not stuck. By the way, if you go on your phone, I'm going to call you out on it, because I talked about this before. There's no phones. We're transcending the cell phone, the jail cell phone that we put ourselves in, because we don't know how to be here. We don't know how to be present. I'm not singling you out. I'm singling myself out, because sometimes I do that, where I'm talking to my kid and I just whip out my phone. Like, what am I doing with my life? What the heck am I doing with my life? So spirituality says this is the first moment. This is it. There's no this is 15th, 100th, whatever. I'm transcending time and space. That means there's no changes. I'm being in a spiritual moment, a connected moment, an infinite moment. When I transcend time and space, I get spirituality. So we want that our experience should go into a spiritual experience. However, we live in a physical world. So how in the physical world do I get to a spiritual experience? And that's what we're going to discuss after the break. L'chaim.